Like, when Prodigy was big, I was just starting to get into punk. And that thing Keith Flint had done with his hair, where he had it like the two horns.
Oh, yeah.
With the red and purple, like... Do you know how often I tried to imitate that as a kid? Like, I didn't know much about their music, but I was drawn to his look as a kid, because I was just discovered Rancid and NoFX, and I thought that was so fucking cool looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I don't really know Prodigy at all.
I know, like, 3 songs.
I used to know one because it was on Big Shiny Tunes.
Yeah, Big Shiny Tunes 2 had... Yeah.
I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me.
They had Smack My Bitch Up, they had Firestarter, and the song I actually know best, like, is that one from Big Shiny Tunes, and for some reason I can't remember the name of it. Breathe,
there you go.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think I was a little too young when Prodigy hit, and they kind of scared me, to be honest.
Yeah, the video was kind of creepy.
Like, I was... I'm guessing it was mid-90s or so, and I was like 5-6 years old. And I was kind of like, nah, that seems creepy. But I was also like a very easily scared kid who couldn't watch horror movies, so...
Yeah. Let's see, I'm just seeing when Breathe came out. 97. So I was 10.
I was 7. It was just enough of a difference in ages there.
Yeah, so I was 10, and yeah, that was around the time I got into Rancid, because I was in grade 5 or 6 when I got into Rancid, because we used to listen to the Chef Aid CD from South Park.
Oh, okay.
As we were playing street hockey.
Nice.
And my favorite song on that was Brad Logan by Rancid. And then I was like, I really like this song. I should find more music by these guys. And then we went to Halifax for Thanksgiving. And that's when I found And Out Come the Wolves. And I seen it there on CD, and that album cover just grabbed me immediately.
Yeah.
And I was hooked.
Man, I had no idea that's where your whole history with Rancid comes from.
Yeah, fucking playing street hockey with just playing street hockey with the kids in the neighborhood.
That's amazing.
My love for punk rock comes from South Park.
And probably a little bit of vice versa there as well.
A little bit, yeah.
So yeah, welcome to Jedi Dropouts, I guess. I mean, because why not? That basically sums up this podcast. Jedi Dropouts, because, I mean, what else? I am here with my friend and co-host, Mr. James Moss. Not actually here, of course, as always.
Yeah.
He's on the other side of
the interwebs.
Really the other side. Yeah, it's not really the other side of the west coast of Newfoundland, I guess is
the other side of the west coast. I think the other side of the west coast would be St. Anthony.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Because you're at the very bottom of the west coast, and St. Anthony would be at the top. I'm like a quarter way.
Yeah.
across the west coast.
You're all the way on the other side of the southern west coast of Newfoundland and Labrador, I guess.
That is just weirdly specific.
Yeah. I haven't slept a lot, okay? I'm running on fumes here a little bit. exciting news. I don't know if you are aware of this. We're gonna talk about like actual geek news later, but like exciting, relevant to us news. Did you notice there are new episodes of Jeopardy on Netflix?
New episodes of Jeopardy?
Fuck yeah.
I hadn't noticed.
50 new episodes, to be exact.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah, like 5 tournaments or whatever.
Do they have Ken Jennings on it?
I haven't checked out the Tournament of Champions yet. There's like a teachers tournament. There's a kids one, a teenagers one. There is a new Tournament of Champions, and I forget what the other one is.
I don't like the kids tournaments. Like, I like old people playing because I'm like, well, if they're smarter than me, they've been around the block. Like, they've got like multiple degrees sometimes. Like, you know, like, oh, that of course that dude's smarter than me. He works for NASA. Like,
yeah.
But like when I watch the kids tournaments, it's just like these kids in like grade 7 who know astronomically more shit than I do. It's just like, alright, well, I'm just gonna go sit on the kitchen floor and stare at whatever's under the sink to see if I can find something to ingest.
Man, okay, I gotta tell you this one. So last night we decided to check out some of this new Jeopardy.
Yeah.
It's not really new because, you know, it's a couple years old. And we started one of the tournaments with the adult contestants, and a couple of episodes in, there was an episode where I don't think either one of us knew a single answer the entire episode. And it was kind of like, this is hard, and I'm not having fun right now, so let's go to the kids tournament to feel smart. And that didn't work at all. Because, like, I'm not exaggerating at all here when I say the kids go to introduce themselves, and the first one is, you know, like this fucking 10-year-old kid or whatever. And it's like, such and such enjoys the work of John Grisham novels and hopes to be a lawyer one day. And I'm like, John Grisham? I've never touched a John Grisham novel. And then this, like, I don't even think she was 10 years old. She talks about her fascination with the human mind and her interest in psychology. And I'm like, you are not a kid. You are not a child. That is not a child.
You are
interest.
a robot.
I swear to God. Fucking
Did you see
prodigies.
Did you see the ones with the blonde guy on it? Eddie Timanus or Timanus or however you say his last name?
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Like, at first I started just like rooting for the guy because I was like, oh man, that's really cool. He's blind. I kind of want to see the blonde guy win. And then, like, the more he was answering questions and stuff like that, and you got to see, like, his personality, and he just seemed like he was having a blast with it, I was just like, I really genuinely like this guy.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Even if he wasn't, like, blind, and I wasn't just rooting for him because I want to see, like, the first ever blind contestant do well. Like, the dude was very likable, and I was just rooting for him because I liked him, not because I wanted. I guess you'd call it a bit of an underdog story.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, I was rooting for the guy because he was funny and likable.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did watch that. That was one of the collections that was on Netflix before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we watched everything that was on there. I should mention, I briefly mentioned getting a new dog on the last episode, and I realized I went into, like, zero detail about that. So, yeah, we got a new dog. I also didn't mention on the podcast at any point, but last fall, our previous dog, Holly, had to be put down for reasons, obviously, declining health and such. And it was sad, and I didn't really feel like talking about it because I was depressed about it, and so on. But I'm good. We're all good here, and we decided... Actually, no, we didn't decide. We had no plans of getting a new dog until we saw this fucking English bulldog on Facebook that stole my heart so quickly that 2 days later I decided to use my only 2 days off of the week driving from St. John's to Portabass, or Portabass to St. John's and back, like literally 20 hours of driving on my days off just because I wanted this dog immediately. And yeah, we now have an English Bulldog who once again is asleep on the couch during this episode. I was kind of worried she was going to be a little hyperactive and make a bit of noise, but no, she's out cold. And her name, I feel like I should go into at least briefly just because. Her name is Bana, B-A-N-A.
Named after Eric, the best person to play the Hulk.
Named after Eric Bana, yes. He who certainly was a person who played the Hulk. But yeah, I've definitely called her Eric Bana on multiple occasions because it's funny as shit. So yeah, new dog. Having a lot of fun there. Hopefully it's gonna be a reason for me to get out off my ass and exercise a bit because she's very, very energetic and needs to work that off with walks a lot.
Yep. Also,
yep.
Your dog is named Gabbana after Dolce & Gabbana. My dog is named Oakley after the sunglasses. Both of us adopted our dogs already having these names.
Yep.
But yeah, so Oakley and Gabbana.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Likely names for our pets, right?
Yeah. Things that you and I would probably never touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, something I realized, like, just yesterday, if you put my dog next to your dog, it kind of looks like me and you have been turned into dogs. Like...
Oh my god. Can we do that?
They kind of look like caricatures of us a little bit, you know what I mean?
Oh my god. We need this picture.
Yeah, we should do that.
Yep.
We'll make that happen at some point.
Yep.
Oh man. So you want to get into the Jedi Dropouts mailbag for the week?
Let's do it.
So we put out a call for more mailbag questions, of course. Got a lot of answers, a lot of them from one particular person. I'm gonna leave it to just one of their questions for this episode. And I noticed that the topics of the questions I had picked out for this episode were very much in the interest of my Final Form co-host, Mitchell Clark. So I contacted him and just, asked him for answers as well, just because I thought it was relevant, it made sense. So the person who actually submitted 5 questions to our mailbag, which will all get answered on future episodes, Matt Pike, of course.
Nice.
Who's probably written into the mailbag more times than anybody. And this is a really good question. I like this one. If you had to recommend one graphic novel to someone who either hasn't read one before or is looking to get into them, what would it be?
A graphic novel?
Yeah, he says graphic novel, but I'm thinking he means graphic novel or comic, like, trade collection, you know what I mean? Any sort of, like, comics in book form, I would imagine, should work for this. I think. Unless I'm misunderstanding and he means specifically graphic novel, but...
I'm going to go with the graphic novel that I loaned you a while back and say Punk Rock Jesus.
Good call. Who's that by again?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
I feel it was the last name Murphy,
Yep.
perhaps?
Yeah.
I don't remember the writer's name now. That was a good read, though.
It was a lot of fun. And,
Yeah.
like, it didn't have to deal with, like, superpowers too much. And, like, some people are kind of, like, iffy on superpowers because for some reason they think that stuff is juvenile. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like its content could grab a few more snobby people who think they're more mature.
We're talking to you, Bill Maher. Go read Punk Rock Jesus. You fucking asshole.
Yeah.
So Mitchell says the Darth Vader trade collection by Karen Gillan, which again was a collection of comics loaned to me recently. I still have it there on the shelf.
Did you say by Karen Gillan?
Kieran Gillen?
Okay, I thought you were talking about like the actress who plays Nebula. I was like, what? She put out Darth Vader fucking series? Like,
yeah, I know, right? The names are very similar, but yeah, it seemed like I'm about halfway through it, and it's set during like it seems like it's I can't get my words out. It's set during the original trilogy, and it like weaves in and out of events of the original trilogy movies, and it is done really fucking well. I haven't finished it, so I can't give like a full review of that or anything. And he also mentioned the Transformers miniseries All Hail Megatron. So clearly Mitchell is just saying read something about a supervillain of some sort, which doesn't surprise me even a little bit. Very on brand. My pick is Scott Pilgrim, the Scott Pilgrim series by Brian Lee O'Malley. Because here's why. It's funny. It is full of pop culture references. It is based around a musician in a band. It has video game and comic book references all throughout it. And it comes in very neat little, like, novel-sized books. And I feel like all of those things are reasons to bring people who aren't comic readers in. I know for a fact it brought me in. It was one of, like, when I got back into comics in my 20s, that was one of the things that really hooked me back in. Fun series. Plus the movie has a bit of a following, so maybe that's another reason. It just seems like the most accessible to someone who isn't really a comic book reader, to me.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Next question. This is going to be fun. I'm going to give my answer on this one first, just because I feel like I have the least amount of knowledge on this topic. My friend Will Sullivan writes in, who would you have Simpsonified and why? And to clarify, he says Simpsonified as in like a celebrity guest appearing in an episode of The Simpsons, which they have done many, many times. So I did a quick check to make sure this celebrity had not appeared in The Simpsons, because I don't really know that whole history. My pick is Questlove from The Roots and from The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, because I feel like he's just such an iconic, entertaining celebrity who seems like he would work in that world. And I feel like maybe you can spin some kind of story where he is like he's Lisa's music teacher or giving her music lessons or something along those lines. There's definitely a Lisa-based episode in there. You got anything, or do you want me to give Mitchell's answer first?
You give Mitchell's first.
Okay. So Mitchell isn't... he's a much bigger Simpsons fan than me, but he doesn't know celebrities as well as I do, which we've mentioned time and time again. So Mitchell, the best he has here, he says that most of the celebrities he knows have already been in The Simpsons, but maybe if The Simpsons were to do some kind of Nintendo-based episode in some way, you could have Shigeru Miyamoto or Reggie Fils-Aime. I don't know if... Is that how you pronounce it? Fils-Aime? Fils-Aime? I don't know. Reggie. Reggie from Nintendo.
Yeah.
One of those guys in there. They seem like they would also work animated as Simpsons.
I'm gonna say Jason Statham.
Oh, yes.
Because I really like Jason Statham.
Yeah.
But I feel like he would be drawn a lot like a more fit, buff Homer.
Yeah, he would,
Like,
wouldn't he?
with his, like, scruff he always has going on and his receding hairline and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that, like, not only do I really like Jason Statham, but I feel like that would be a good episode of having, like, Homer comparing himself to Jason and, like, getting really jealous because, like, you know, they're both balding guys with, like, the 5 o'clock shadow thing going on, except one's overweight and out of shape, and the other one is a famous star who's known for being quite built.
Yeah, I can see some potential there.
Yeah. So that's my answer.
That's a good answer. Last question for the episode. Cody Bennett. He's written in before. He writes in again. And I feel like there's a lot of ways you could interpret this question. He just asked simply, word for word here, who's the best Smash Bros. Character? Which, that's a hard question. I mean, are you saying character-wise, as in written character? Are you talking what's the most powerful character? Who's your favorite character to play as? Like, that's, you know, there's a lot of ways you could read into that.
The most broken character, I'd probably say, like, is King K. Rool.
Okay.
Best Smash Bros. Character, if we're talking favorite, I'm either gonna say Ike, or I've been playing a lot of Richter Belmont lately.
Okay.
But until I get those characters unlocked, for me it's always Fox and Donkey Kong, depending on, like, what I want. Like, if I want to be, like, fast and reflecting projectiles and just annoying, I'm going with Fox. And
Okay.
if I just want pure smash power, I'm going with Donkey Kong.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the alternate approach to this. I don't really have a lot of input in terms of powerful characters or who I like to play as, because I don't really play a lot of Smash Bros. So I'm going to go with who I think are the best written characters and like the better creations as a character. And I think that's a toss-up for me between Fox and Samus.
Nice.
Who I think are both fucking awesome characters. Who I'd like to see more of. Like, I know a Legend of Zelda animated series is in the works, I believe. But I would probably be more interested in a Star Fox or Metroid animated series. I think there's a lot of promise there.
A Metroid animated series would be killer.
It would. So, obviously, I had to ask Mitchell this one. This was one of the... Like, when I saw Simpsons and Smash Bros., I was like, okay, I gotta get Mitchell in on this one.
Yep.
And I expected a long and sprawling, overly complicated answer for the Smash Bros. Question, and Mitchell did not disappoint at all. So, in response to who's the best Smash Bros. Character, he said, in the N64 Smash Bros., Link. In Smash Bros. Melee, it's Captain Falcon. In Smash Bros. Brawl, it's Sonic or Snake. In Smash Bros. For Wii U or 3DS, it's Zero Suit Samus. In Smash Bros. Ultimate, it's King K. Rool, Ridley, Richter, or Simon. And as for the entire series, I don't know about the best, but the worst is Ness and Lucas. Couldn't just give a straight up answer, and I fucking expected that, and that's exactly why I asked him. And I cut that down quite a bit. He had a lot to say, as you would imagine. Thanks everybody for writing in those questions. Fun mailbag as always. Thanks Mitchell for that wonderful input. And I guess we can move on to a little bit of news.
Yeah.
Just got a couple small things that I thought were too relevant to us to not mention. First off, finally, The Jay and Silent Bob reboot is filming. Production has started. They are shooting right now.
Yeah.
And that's right. Back in the fucking Viewisk universe, which really hits home for us here at Jedi Dropouts. If you check out on, I believe, YouTube and a couple other places online, Kevin Smith is doing some like behind the scenes making of live updates and shit, which I need to go check out immediately. But yeah, I'm just really fucking excited for this movie. Word is that it might even be released before the end of the year.
I hope so.
That would be amazing. That would immediately jump up into the list of movies that I am most excited for this year. And honestly, there's only other one piece of news that I feel like you probably want to talk about here. The announcement of Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this? You're the resident Pokemon fanatic here.
I got pretty excited about it. When I watched it, I was pretty excited. A few of the Pokemon channels I follow on YouTube, I watched their reviews on it too. One of them wasn't too fussy about the logos. He was just like, they look like fan-made logos, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, plus, like, they both have a wolf's head involved. I was thinking to myself, but what if that means, like, both of the counterpart legendaries are wolf-themed?
Oh, shit, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could have one that's, like, way more offensive, and you could have one that's just defensive bulk. The trailer looked really good. The starters look great. I'm just really hoping that Scorbunny doesn't evolve into another firefighting starter, because we've had, out of, like, this is Gen 8 we're getting now. So out of 7 gens we already have, 3 are firefighting.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, gens 3, 4, and 5 are firefighting. And that's enough.
Yeah. So Scorbunny is your favorite looking one so far there?
I have a tendency to go with the grass starters.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I find that I'm not usually a huge fan of a lot of the grass Pokemon.
Okay, yeah.
And so I'll usually try to go with the grass starter because, you know, there's not a lot of great grass Pokemon in my opinion, especially early game.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you
and
there.
A lot of the times, like, rock is a common type for, like, the first couple gyms.
Yeah.
So you got the type advantage there, plus grass Pokemon usually get, like, Leech Seed, or they get, like, Absorb and Mega Drain and HP recovering moves early on, plus they get a lot of status inflicting moves. So early game you either have HP recovery, or you can paralyze, or you can poison. So I like having that early on.
Okay.
So I usually go towards the grass Pokemon. So my first playthrough, I'm probably going to go with Grookey, the little monkey that we have there.
Yep.
So that's probably the one I'm going to go with, because that historically has been the way I've gone. Thinking back, the only Gen 2 I didn't go with grass, I went with fire the first time I played it.
Okay, yeah.
And Gen 7, my first playthrough, like, that's out of Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon, I went with the water starter my very first playthrough. Okay, and then after that, I actually did switch to grass. I've never started a game with the fire starter for Gen 7.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I usually do tend to go with the grass starter. But the games themselves look super cool. The region is based on the UK. When they showed like the just map of what the entire region's gonna look like, I thought it looked super fucking cool.
Yeah.
A lot of people are disappointed that you don't see Pokemon running around in the overworld like you did in Pokemon Let's Go.
Yeah.
And I kind of understand that, though. Because, like, they only had to do that for... Like, they only had to have, like, the walk animations and stuff like that for 153 Pokemon for Pokemon Let's Go.
Yeah.
But we're up over 800 now.
Yeah. That's
like,
a lot.
having to do the walk animation, like, the battle animations is enough for 800 plus Pokemon. But to have, like, the walk animations for all those Pokemon, like, walking behind you or, like, popping up in the grass and stuff like that, like, that's a lot. And it looks like the catch mechanics are gone back to, like, the way they are, which I like. Like, they can do more Let's Go Pokemon games in the future. They could do a Gen 2 one and have, like, Let's Go, you know, pick 2 Pokemon from Gen 2. Or just one Pokemon from Gen 2. And that would be cool, but the thing about Let's Go, it was tied in so heavily to Pokemon Go. Like, where you could transfer Pokemon from Go to Let's Go, and vice versa. And so, obviously, the catch mechanic is going to be more similar to how it was in Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
So, these games seemingly have no tie-in to the Pokemon Go world. So it makes sense that they would go back to the old catch mechanics.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing I'm waiting to see is, like... Because in Gen 7 they had, like, the trials and trial captains.
Okay.
And stuff like that. And, like, Gen 7 was based on Hawaii. With the couple islands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so you would beat a couple trial captains per island, and then, like, you'd have to beat them in order to face, like, the big trainer for each island, which was called the Kahuna, which makes sense for a Hawaii-based region.
Yeah.
But, like, I would hope that they're gonna go back to, like, the 8 gym leaders for this region because, well, they're not going to call it kahunas in a UK-based region. No. So if they were to have, like, the trial captain system for this, like, couple trial captains for this, like, section of the region, like, I don't know what they would call the boss of those handful of trial captains. Like, what they would replace the kahunas with. So I'm hoping that they just go back to the 8 gym leaders that you have to beat before the Elite Four.
Yeah.
I'd also really like to see a Dark-type gym because they've never had a Dark-type gym. There was a Dark-type Kahuna in Gen 8 because they had either Kahuna or Trial Captain for each of the types. Like, every single type was done. But they've had a couple Dark-type Elite Four members, but they've never had a Dark-type gym leader. The gym leader's supposed to act like a leader to the town. Like, they're a role model for the kids. Like, they, you know, help get new trainers set up with, you know, they're, you know, important to the town. And Dark-types are supposed to be, like, malicious and stuff like that. So that's part of why there's never been a Dark-type gym leader, is because, like, in Japan, it's not called dark type, it translates to evil type.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'd like to see a dark type gym leader for once, and I'd like to see how they pull that off. Because I mean, like, they could have it be in like a dingy, like foggy area, like really like as close to a Jack the Ripper type situation as you could put in a children's game.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm very excited for this new game.
Yeah.
Well, new games.
Well, yeah.
I could talk about it for a long time.
I completely believe that. That's all I got for news. I just jotted down those two things because I thought they were completely relevant.
Hell yeah.
And now we can get into a couple reviews. I don't know if you got anything to review. I got two little things to just mention there.
I only have one thing, I believe.
Is it one of the things that I also have? That
Yes.
TV show we were talking about recently? Okay.
Yeah. Which I have since finished. Because I had 2 episodes left when you and I were talking about it.
Okay. Before we get into that, I'm just going to quickly segue from the video game you're very excited about to the video game that I'm still currently playing and very excited about. I'm not going to give a full review because I haven't finished it yet, but I am a ways into God of War now. And it is fucking incredible. I absolutely see why this won Game of the Year. I don't quite love it like I love Spider-Man. It's not quite doing that for me, but it's a really fucking good game. In particular, the boss battles are so good. There's something I like about this game where, like, usually when I play an RPG, I always feel like I'm not like I'm always slightly underpowered. You know what I mean? Like when you run into a boss, you're like, "Oh shit, look at this guy." You know, I've got to watch myself a little bit here. With God of War, it's like it's not that you're overpowered and it's an easy game, because it is a difficult game, but there's this sort of confidence. Like when I run into a boss battle, I'm like, instead of thinking, okay, I've got to hang back a bit, it's more like, I am gonna fuck this guy up, and I know I will, because Kratos is just so fucking awesome. And the weapon in this game is the Leviathan axe, and it's this massive axe that you can upgrade and get different skills with, and you can throw it, and then there's another button to hit to just call it back to you from wherever it was, and it does damage on its way back as well. And it is one of the coolest weapons I've ever used in a game.
So it's Mjolnir, basically.
Yeah, it's basically Mjolnir, which leads me into the fact that, like, all the old God of War games were based in different mythologies, and I did not even know that this new one is based around Norse mythology, which I think the Mjolnir thing is definitely on purpose.
Yeah.
So, being a lover of Norse mythology, I'm seeing all this cool shit, like the World Tree and like fighting Balder and shit like this, and it's so fucking cool. And the graphics are great, and just everything about this game is so good. Very cinematic game. Yeah, I'm loving it, and I'll give a full score on it when I finish it. I'm probably gonna go play some more when I finish recording today.
Nice.
And the only other thing to review is something. Now, usually on this podcast, we agree quite a bit.
Yeah.
On stuff. Like, every now and then we disagree, but for the most part, I don't know the last time we felt so adamantly opposite on something as we currently do on the Umbrella Academy.
Yeah. After letting it sit for a little bit, I'm not as, like, my feelings have, like, changed a little bit after finishing it and sitting with it for a little bit, but there's a few points that I'm still just kind of feeling the same about.
Okay, we don't have to get into any spoilers because it is a fairly new show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a conversation the other day, and there was a lot of story points that you were not too fussed about.
Yeah.
In particular, I remember you mentioning a character's arc being very similar to a certain X-Men character's arc.
Yeah.
I want to throw one more thing at you that I didn't think about the other day. It could be very much done on purpose as a sort of illusion, as Gerard Way, like, he's spent a lot of his early 20s working in comic book shops and obsessing over comics. So it could be very much just like an homage to something he's a fan of, which is possible.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I know what you're saying. I get where you're coming from.
I just saw a lot, like, even right up to the end of the season, I saw a lot of similarities in that one character to the comparison I made when we were talking.
Yeah.
A few of the other characters, like, aside from that one character, I loved, and they just grew on me more and more as the season went on. Like,
Yeah.
at first I was like, okay, they're kind of likable, and then by the end of it, I was like really rooting for that particular character. It was just the one character's arc that I really just couldn't get to. And I mean, there was one other thing that kind of weirded me out, and I guess it would kind of weird me out a bit more than it would weird other people out, maybe.
Oh, I know exactly what you're getting at there.
Yeah, I think you do.
Yes, a certain relationship, perhaps.
Yeah.
That was weird.
It was very weird, and I know some people would be like, yeah, but I mean, they're not technically related.
But
yeah. I was adopted.
Yeah.
My adoptive family is my family. It doesn't matter that we do not share any blood, like, no. They are my family. It is the same thing to me as, you know, if we came from the same genetics.
Yeah.
No, like that, just, ugh.
Yeah, like, it's, I don't know, it's, to argue that they're not technically, it's kind of a slap in the face.
Yeah.
In a way. I think the only maybe argument is to say that, like, I don't know, if two kids grew up together and perhaps romantic feelings were there the entire time, instead of familial feelings, then maybe it's not weird because there's no transition. The transition is the weird part. The fact that, like, family to lover, that's weird. That's fucking, no, I'm out on that.
But Reginald, it seems like from the intro of the thing, like, it seems like he nabbed up these kids in infancy.
Yeah, exactly.
So their entire lives, they lived under the same roof, being told they were brother and sister.
Yeah. It doesn't quite go to, like, Game of Thrones lengths, but it's still fucking weird.
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe worse than Game of Thrones in that how okay with it everyone seems to be in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to kind of, speaking of siblings and the comparisons we were making between Umbrella Academy and another show, my sister actually texted me and asked me if it was worth watching. And I told her, like, you know, it's definitely worth watching. It's good. There's just a few things in it that seem a little, like, almost cliche. Like, you know, they seem a little too familiar.
Okay.
That's basically what I said. I told her, like, I definitely think it's worth watching. It's not a bad show at all, but there's things that definitely don't seem that original about it. And I didn't compare it to anything else. And her response was, yeah, it seems very X-Men-ish.
Oh, wow.
And that was the impression she got from, like, the trailers and everything like that.
Okay.
And that just, I was kind of like, I didn't even have to say X-Men. And my sister just automatically went there.
Yeah. I'll give a bit of my side of it now here. So I've been a fan of the Umbrella Academy comics for...
Yeah, see, you're more familiar with the source material than I am, too.
I've been a fan for almost a decade.
Yeah.
That long. I when I first got back into comics in my early 20s, I started reading the Umbrella Academy comics, and then I've owned a copy of the first volume for over 5 years at least. And it's not an exact adaptation at all. Like, they changed quite a bit, but the essence is perfectly done. It is just that it's just weird enough. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like Gerard Way's voice comes through very strong in the characters and just everything about the show. And Gerard Way is someone I've been a fan of for a very long time, both his comics and his music. Yes, that is the same Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance, if you're wondering and don't know. And I do recommend other comics by him, like Doom Patrol and so on. But as much as you found parts of it familiar in terms of story and character, I found some of the scenes and some of the ideas they came up with, like, really fucking out there and very surprising. Pretty much everything with Five and Klaus, especially. Like, I loved Klaus. Klaus was easily the best part of the show, right?
Yeah.
Played by Robert Sheehan from that show, what is it called? Misfits, which is a fun show too.
See, I wasn't familiar with him before the show.
I watched some Misfits like years ago, and the only thing that I really remember about that show was that guy was a hell of a good actor, and I'd like to see more of him. And now I did, and I hope he gets more of a break now, because he's great. He's very fucking entertaining.
Oh, he was the highlight of the show.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I really enjoyed it as a fan of the comics, and as a fan of, I really like when I like when the superhero genre is taken and just sort of twisted in a strange way, which I feel like this show does well. And the time travel really made it for me, because I love when time travel is played with in, like, interesting ways. And some of the ways that they use time travel as a plot device here are fucking awesome. Like, I don't know, I really enjoy it, especially in the latter half of the season. And yeah, just I'm excited for season 2 now, because I like the way that they set up the second season. I love the way that this season ended, and I believe it's already been renewed. So, yeah.
Yeah. As soon as that thing happened, where the skylight went out, I knew exactly what was going to happen there. I was just like, yeah. But it was a good way to set up for the second season.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions to be asked in the beginning of season 2 now.
Yeah.
And I feel like we can go, like, maybe when the second season comes out, I'll dig a little more into some of the stuff that I liked about it in more of a spoiler sort of way.
Yeah.
I want to keep...
There's one thing about that last scene that I noticed, like maybe I missed something, but there was something that I think is going to be integral to season 2, I think.
Yeah, I think we may be on the same page there. We're going to have to discuss that after, because it's really hard working around the spoilers here. Anyway, I hope that was interesting enough for you to maybe go check the show out. It's on Netflix. Everybody has Netflix or knows somebody with Netflix, so, you know. Yeah, go check it out and give us your thoughts. Maybe you enjoyed it, maybe you didn't. Maybe you're just distracted by my dog snoring as loud as fuck in the background. So I guess it's time to get into the main part of the episode, which I realized we did not discuss at all in the first 50 plus minutes.
Yeah,
we didn't set up this episode at all. So it's a complete secret. You have no idea what you're gonna walk into right now. So what we're doing on today's episode is ranking every season of American Idol.
Woo!
And spoiler alert, I'm a big Justin Guarini fan.
I'm more of a Kelly Clarkson.
Mainstream is shit, dude. Although we can both agree, from Justin to Kelly is fucking top tier shit, right?
Solid movie. Where's my boy Ruben?
I'm gonna go on a tangent here.
Oh God!
When I was in college in Stephenville, I lived with this guy who was a big movie, like a film snob sort of thing, and I started picking fun at him and joking about From Justin to Kelly being one of my favorite movies of all time, and then it became this big inside joke, to the point where by the end of the semester, we had a VHS copy of From Justin to Kelly, as well as a full-size movie poster on our wall. And I still own both of them to this day. I have, like, full-size movie theater movie poster of From Justin to Kelly and a VHS
That's
copy.
hilarious.
They're stored away somewhere. I need to get those out. Oh my God, the dog is snoring so fucking loud. Oh. Yeah. She like when she snores at night, she literally just shakes the house. So anyway, the actual idea we had for today's episode, lately we've been having a lot of conversations about like theorizing on upcoming movies and TV shows. You know, who are they going to cast? What characters are they going to use? Maybe what are some of the secrets that they're keeping from us? So that's the episode. We're just going to go through some stuff and theorize and fan cast and just geek the fuck out.
Yep.
It's time to nerd out with your bird out, I guess.
Nerd out with your bird out. Should that be the episode title, or it
should we
could be?
Put that on a T-shirt. We should put it on a T-shirt.
There you go.
With like a picture of a parakeet.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Nerd out with your bird out. A parakeet in like a pair of nerdy glasses, right?
Yep. With the tape around the middle.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad I'm tired.
Yeah, we could get another T-shirt for sale on our new web store where you can buy Jedi Dropouts merch. Teespring.com/Jedi Dropouts Productions.
Is it Teespring? I thought it was TeePublic.
TeePublic. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm tired too.
We're all tired. Yeah, you can go get yourself a T-shirt, a mug. You can get yourself... there's some like really specific stuff on there. You can get wall art. what was it? I remember seeing something that was like overly specific, and I was like, I would be very interested if someone bought that. Phone case is one.
Yeah?
I would be very interested in someone other than like one of us three having a Jedi Dropouts phone case. Yeah, I made an order of some stuff last night. I'm gonna check out some of this merch firsthand for myself. So, I think the movie we should probably start off with here, something we talked about a little bit on the last episode, the upcoming Batman movie.
Yes.
From Matt Reeves. And on the previous episode, we posed the question of who would you like to see play Batman next? And we got a couple good answers back here. Well, we got 3 answers. 2 of them are good, and one of them was from Matt Pike. Matt Pike, being as topical as ever, wrote, I don't even know how to pronounce this guy's name. Jussie Smollett.
Jussie Smollett.
Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, come on, low hanging fruit, Matt. That's an easy target.
Yeah. I personally thought that comment was pretty funny.
Yeah, I know. I don't know, man. I mean, it would make for an interesting turn on the Batman origin story if his parents were never actually murdered in an alley. It was just a lie for attention, but, you know. Reese Harrison writes in, Armie Hammer was in the running once upon a time. I'd like to see that happen. Plus, we already know he and Cavill have a great rapport from the man from U.N.C.L.E. Yeah, Armie Hammer is my favorite pick, as I mentioned in the last episode. However, I don't really think we're ever going to see Henry Cavill as Superman again. I think that's done.
Yeah.
I would be very surprised to see him back in the cape. And I got a little... actually, I got into a little conversation with Steve Lake on Twitter. I might as well plug his stuff. Steve Lake is a podcaster as well. He co-hosts the Whostorian podcast, a Doctor Who podcast based out of St. John's. They do some really good stuff over there. They've been running that thing for a while. So first he answered with The Ghost of Adam West, which is fucking amazing.
Yep.
But after having a little bit of a back and forth, he gave a serious answer that I love. Carl Urban.
Nice.
I think Carl Urban is a solid choice for Batman.
Yeah.
If you don't know him, he played Bones in the Star Trek reboots. Judge Dredd. He was one of those characters in the Lord of the Rings trilogy whose name I always fucking forget. Éomer, maybe? Something like that. They all, like, there's so many characters in those movies who have, like, very similar names, and I always fuck them up.
He was Scourge.
Scourge, that's the other big one, yeah. So he has, like, a history of being in sci-fi and fantasy movies, and he can do action scenes, and he's a very talented actor. He's kind of underrated, honestly.
Yeah.
So yeah. Good answers. Except for you, Matt. So we talked about our casting choices a little bit on the last episode. My question to you, man, is what do you want this Batman movie to be in terms of villains, in terms of plot, or anything like that? Like, is there anything in particular you're hoping for with the new Batman movie?
Well, they talked about it being more focused on his detective work.
Yes.
And I think because of that, some of the better villains for him to be facing in this would be like the Riddler.
That's also a villain that I have picked to be in the movie. Yeah.
Someone who's not much of a physical threat, but like leaves a trail of breadcrumbs designed to see if Batman's a good enough detective to follow them.
Okay, yeah.
Victor Zsasz would be a good one.
Yes.
I would say Catwoman, but we've had her in one of the more recent Batman movies.
Yep.
Hush would be another very good one.
Hush would be cool. Yeah.
Hush would be great. Riddler and Zsasz would be my two picks if we were going to have two in the movie.
Yeah. They've talked about it having a bit of a rogues gallery, so I think 2 or 3 is probably about right.
Yeah.
So, my thoughts, I think they should go with a movie set in Arkham Asylum. And I think it should be like a very loose adaptation of the game. Honestly. I thought of another candidate that I like as playing Batman.
Okay.
John Cho.
As in, like, Harold and Kumar?
Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
Picture it. Just mull it over. I think it could work.
Yeah.
I think it works. But I also like Riddler as like a main villain, and I love Zsasz as a villain. I'm not sure if they would use Victor Zsasz, or maybe they would. He's going to be in the Birds of Prey movie. They already have him casted and stuff.
Okay.
Although in my head, I still want to see Caleb Landry Jones play him. I think
that would be nuts.
It would be fucking good, man. I rewatched Get Out again the other day. I bought it on Blu-ray, and that dude is just so fucking good. Like, his acting is unreal.
You've seen The Last Exorcism, right?
Yeah.
He's so good in that too.
He's always just like absolutely captivating when he's on screen.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the kind of level of acting you would want in someone playing Victor Zsasz, someone who can be completely mentally unstable, dangerous, unpredictable, and just absolutely captivating.
Yep.
Other than that, I have 2 other villains I would like to see in the movie, and I have my casting choices. So Riddler, I'd like as the main villain, and I would like to see a guy named Walton Goggins play him.
Oh my god, yes.
You know Walton Goggins. Okay.
Yep.
Wouldn't he be a perfect Riddler? If you don't know him, he's in a lot of like Tarantino movies. And what do you know him from?
He played a transgender woman in Sons of Anarchy.
Okay, yeah.
He was in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yes, he was. You're right. Yeah.
Yep. There was a show he was in that I'm just blanking on the name of it.
Justified? Was that him?
I think so.
Yeah. I think he's a spot-on Riddler.
Yeah.
And my other choice, and I love this one, and I think you're gonna love this one. I'm just thinking about like, a variety of villains. You got the brains. You got the Riddler as the brains sort of villain. You got Zsasz as the sort of wild card. So obviously you want some muscle, perhaps.
Yeah.
Solomon Grundy. I think Solomon Grundy deserves a shot.
Grundy would be great.
And I want to see him motion capped by Andy Serkis, because Andy Serkis could nail that shit.
Yep. You know who else would be good that we haven't seen in a while? The Penguin.
Yes, I would love to see the Penguin again. There's a couple specific Batman villains we haven't had in a while. Penguin and Riddler and who's the other one I'm thinking of? Mr. Freeze. That really deserve new shots on screen.
See, that's the thing. We're ignoring Gotham doing these characters because Gotham's a show and Gotham's take on these characters is very different.
Yeah, of course.
And you're not going to get as big of production value on that show as you would for a Hollywood blockbuster movie.
Yeah.
When they did Penguin, in the movies, in Batman Returns,
Yep.
Penguin was great.
Yeah, he was.
Danny DeVito's Penguin was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Carrey's Riddler, say what you will about Batman Forever, but Jim Carrey was a good Riddler.
He was, yeah.
But Mr. Freeze was never done well.
Never.
So, like, if you're casting either of those three villains, like, whoever's doing Riddler or Penguin has big shoes to fill because they have to live up to the legacy that Danny DeVito and Jim Carrey left with those characters. Mm-hmm. But if you're doing Mr. Freeze, like, you almost got to do it amazing just to redeem that character.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's not going to take much to upstage Arnold in that role. No disrespect to Arnold Schwarzenegger, but that role wasn't very good.
No.
I don't blame Arnold for that. I blame Joel Schumacher.
Yeah, that's fair.
But, like I said, it's not going to take much to do a better Freeze.
Yeah.
But I definitely would like to see Mr. Freeze done right.
Yeah, me too. I'd love to see some of these villains. And then there's ones that we've never got, like Clayface would be cool.
Clayface would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Especially in a detective-based one where, like, he's basically shape-shifting.
Yeah, exactly. Or, I mean, Hush or Phantasm, like some of these fan favorites that would be really cool to see.
Man-Bat would be good too.
I think Red Hood would be fun, but there's, like, it almost can't be in the first movie. You kind of got to build up to it, right?
You got to have a bit of a universe there.
Yeah, exactly. And DC recently, I forget who said it, but someone from DC basically said recently, within the last couple of weeks, that they feel confident that they have found their niche now instead of building a universe of movies, just making individual ones, which again is something we said fucking years ago.
Yep.
Once again, we are not getting our due credit for giving the big guys their ideas. But I agree. I think that what they're doing with the standalone movies is working way better than
100%.
the whole Justice League shit.
Yep.
Yep. Anything else on Batman you wanna chat about, or?
No, I'm good on the Bat topic.
Okay. Well, let's move across the board here to Marvel. Let's chat about Spider-Man: Far From Home a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, I mean, it's not as hypothetical. We have a release date, a very soon release date. We have multiple trailers now. So I feel like to a lot of people it seems like we know what this movie is already. But I feel like there's more to it. I think there's more to be revealed. Especially,
like, leaving a lot of the plot and major events behind the curtain in a movie where the teased villain is an illusionist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, Mysterio could be just a huge red herring.
Yeah, he could. I don't understand people who are upset by the trailer because they're saying that Mysterio can't be a hero, he's a villain. Because I'm like, have you ever watched a movie trailer in your life? This is not anything. This is not. He's obviously a villain. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's going to be more villains in this movie than just Mysterio.
Oh my god, yes. Well, they had multiple villains in the first one.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're going to do something similar there.
They mostly teased at the Vulture.
Yeah.
But they also had two different Shockers. They had Tinkerer. Mm-hmm. And they hinted at Scorpion.
And they also technically included the Prowler.
Yeah,
Like there's a lot of
they did.
there's a lot of hinting around characters, and I think they're gonna do that a little bit. But I think they'll do the shocker thing, and I think there will be a secondary villain. Which had about this recently. I saw a little supposed leak of the story of the movie, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know how authentic it is, but I found authentic ones in the past. I mean, I was aware of Juggernaut in Deadpool 2 a year before that movie was released. So, who knows? Maybe I'm onto something here again. But the word that I'm hearing is the secret secondary villain in this movie is Chameleon.
I so hope so.
That would be like a left field pull.
Yep.
Definitely not one of the more popular Spider-Man villains. And, I mean, one we've never had on screen, which is a great idea. I've also heard that Alistair Smythe might be teased a little bit here, which would be cool.
That would be cool.
I heard a leak a while ago, or a rumor, that Charlie Cox's Daredevil would appear in the movie, but I'm starting to think that's maybe not true.
Yeah, I'm skeptical about that one.
I don't know where it would fit anymore, especially with the location and everything. Yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts on Far From Home. I'm really curious to see how this is going to work, and it's really interesting that they released the trailer before Endgame and all that.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about Endgame? Or I don't know. Like, I don't even know what to say about this. Like,
Yeah, I really don't know what I can say about Endgame. Other than I'm excited for it.
I fully believe that Cap and Iron Man will die in this movie. If not more characters, but I feel like at least those two are goners.
Yeah, like permanently gone, not just like snapped away into the Soul Stone.
No. Yeah, I'm guessing Gamora comes back at some point. Oh yeah, speaking of Marvel, 2 rumors I heard last night that...
Ooh.
Yeah, like very fresh rumors. And when I say last night, I mean like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, so very fresh.
Not even 12 hours ago.
No, exactly. 2 rumored movies in the works at Marvel. The first one being Avengers vs. X-Men.
Yes.
Which makes me think, wouldn't it be
House of M.
Wouldn't it be great if they did the same thing they did with... Okay, so Avengers, they did the Avengers movies and led up to Infinity War Endgame, and basically adapting Infinity Gauntlet, and they managed to squeeze Civil War in right in the middle.
Yep.
So what if they did an X-Men movie, put Avengers vs. X-Men right in the middle, and led up to Secret Wars?
That'd be nuts.
Right? I want that now. Like, you'd be missing a few characters or whatever, but you could bring in She-Hulk, Spider-Woman. You could have fucking Doctor Doom and Galactus and Kang as villains. Oh man.
Oh my god, Kang on live screen, like, oh my god.
I mean, we've had fucking Dormammu. Why can't we have Kang?
Right?
And I mean, we're getting fucking a MODOK TV series apparently,
which I still don't understand how that's gonna play out.
I'm so excited for this.
I'll check it out, but
we've never talked about that on the show, did we? The 4 animated series or animated adult cartoons that Marvel's working on. What was it? Howard the Duck, MODOK, and I forget the other 2 because those 2 were the most exciting ones.
Yeah, I can't remember what the others were.
Yeah. But Kevin Smith is working on Howard the Duck show, and Patton Oswalt is working on MODOK apparently. So,
which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, right? I like some of the stuff that Marvel's working on. And not to mention, my God, I'm just kind of like blasting through all this Marvel stuff that I forgot to even write in my notes. Did you hear about the Eternals casting?
Nope.
So, Marvel is apparently working on an adaptation of the Eternals, and for the lead character, whose name I forget, apparently they're going to try and introduce the first gay Marvel superhero, and they're openly like casting an actual homosexual actor.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's apparently what the word is that they're casting, and I like as soon as I saw that, I thought, well, Matt Bomer is perfect.
Yeah,
do it. Like the dude looks like a superhero. He's built like a superhero. He can I mean, I haven't seen him in a fight scene, but he can dance, and obviously he has choreography skills. So yeah, like I mean, dancing in a movie and fighting in a movie are basically the same thing, essentially. One has slightly less pelvic thrusting.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Matt Bomer would be fucking awesome as
he would be
whatever this character is. I'm not very familiar with the Eternals.
Colton Haynes would be a good one too.
Colton Haynes, yeah, that's a good pick too. I don't know if he fits the bill as whatever this hero is, but Zachary Quinto comes to mind.
Yeah,
he's a fucking solid actor. But Matt Bomer's definitely my first choice there. And if they skip out on Matt Bomer for this, then fucking cast him as Iceman in your X-Men movie.
Yeah, that would be a good casting too.
Yeah,
Matt Bomer as Bobby Drake.
Man. Yeah, shit, I like that. I'm throwing out as much casting in this episode as possible to hopefully get more right in the future. Fuck it, why not?
I cast everyone as everything.
And then you can't be wrong, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's probably about it for Marvel. I don't know if there's anything else. Like, there's so much going on with Marvel. Do you have anything else here in terms of casting or... I mean, we've talked about Fantastic Four quite a bit.
There's one other movie that I want to talk a little bit about casting. Okay. But I feel like we're going to get to that shortly.
Oh, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. I got 3 more movies here listed just to talk about in general. I'll just go with the order I got listed here. So, the new Ghostbusters movie. How excited are you for this shit?
Very.
Same. Very excited. And you know what? I got a slight tangent rant here. Okay, so I don't like to rant against the politically correct, I guess the feminist side, because I mean I'm generally strongly on that side, but there's been a thing going on lately with the Ghostbusters that pissed me off a little bit, because it was kind of a jumping of the gun and a great see, my thing is, generally in these arguments, I feel like I don't even know, I feel like the more liberal feminist side is the side that's doing the research, actually doing the reading, putting the work in, and has a more well-informed argument. But with this Ghostbusters shit, they're not at all. So I saw some articles recently, and I'm sure a lot of people listening have seen them as well, quoting the new Ghostbusters director, Jason Reitman, as saying that he's bringing the franchise back to the fans. Which basically sounds like, fuck the female reboot, we're going back to the good stuff. Which, on its own, that sounds shitty, that sounds awful. Fuck that. But that's not exactly what he said. He was on a podcast. I forget the name of the podcast off the top of my head. But you can read the quotes. You can go listen to the podcast. What he's saying is that he's bringing it back to the original movie. He's saying that nothing since that original movie has quite lived up to it. And that includes the sequel with Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd. Which I fully agree with. I feel like the franchise is one amazing movie and then some other pretty good stuff.
Yep.
That's basically what it is.
Well, it's kind of like what happened with Halloween.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the Halloween movie we just got ignored every Halloween movie past the first one, and there were some pretty good movies in there.
Yeah.
But really, the first one was the most iconic.
Yeah. Exactly. So, one thing I really want to point out to anyone who might be, I don't know, getting their back up at what I'm saying here, is straight up in the interview, he clarifies, he says, now I don't want to sound like I'm ragging on the 2016 Ghostbusters. I forget the exact quote he says, but he praises the movie. He says, you know, the cast and crew, Kate McKinnon, Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, Leslie Jones, they did an amazing job, and it's no slight to them. He literally goes out of his way to make sure he says, like, you know, I'm not tearing this movie apart. I'm not even saying that they did anything wrong. I'm just taking it back to what the franchise originally was in that first movie. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't know why everyone is, like, absolutely jumping on the guy.
I don't know.
And it's one of those things where that one quote of taking it back to the fans, which I will admit, like, that quote on its own rubs me the wrong way, because fans these days don't really fucking deserve anything. They're spoiled little shits. But it's not what it sounds like. I really recommend you go do a bit of research on this one. Jason Reitman is not a bad person. I mean, you look at his movies, he has a history of creating solid movies with strong female protagonists, like Juno and Young Adult and Tully. Like, he's a good guy. He's not one of the people that we should be attacking. And I mean, knowing my luck, you know, next week some fucking sexual assault scandal will come out about Jason Reitman, and I'll be eating my own words, but, you know, hopefully not. As far as I can tell, because I don't know him personally, Jason Reitman seems like a decent enough guy, and we should give him a chance with this Ghostbusters movie. And
I could be mistaken in this, but isn't there going to be at least one female in this Ghostbusters lineup?
Half and half.
There you go.
It's an all kid cast, like teenager to preteen, and it's going to be 2 boys, 2 girls.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, did you hear about the casting on this movie?
I did not.
They have casted specifically an actor that I was going to say on this episode I hope they don't cast. Finn Wolfhard is casted in the movie.
Wow.
Now, not that I dislike Finn Wolfhard. I just feel like between it and Stranger Things, either he could start to get typecasted, or the movie could maybe seem a little bit too similar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when the casting was announced, Jason Reitman also said in the announcement that he was not planning on casting Finn Wolfhard for that exact reason, because he didn't want it to seem too similar, and apparently the audition just blew him away. So Finn Wolfhard is in. Now the question is, do you have any other kids that you would like to see in this movie?
1 second, I have to Google a name.
Okay. In the meantime, I will say the there was an actor I had that I wanted in the movie that I'm gonna cut out now just because Finn Wolfhard kind of does the job instead. Jack Dylan Grazer from It and Shazam.
Okay.
He played Eddie in It.
Yep.
He was funny as shit. He stole the movie, and I thought he would be a good choice for if they're going with the comedic style of the original Ghostbusters, which was a lot of improv and riffing. Then I feel like he would have been a good choice. But I think Finn Wolfhard will do just as good. You got that actor there?
Aidan Gallagher.
Aidan Gallagher. That's familiar. Why do I know that name?
Because he just played 5 in Umbrella Academy.
Yes! Holy shit. That kid is fucking incredible.
Yep.
I was really blown away with his performance in Umbrella Academy. Like, I guess it's not a spoiler to say, because you find it very early on, that he is a 50-something-year-old man trapped in his 12-year-old body.
Yep.
And the fact that this kid pulls off that so well and so believably that you forget his age is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a solid pick. My other choices, if we're doing a rounded out 4 here, 2 boys, 2 girls, and we already got Finn Wolfhard, I'm gonna go with Julian Dennison from Deadpool 2.
Okay.
That kid's fucking hilarious. And I think you could play off him pretty well. McKenna Grace from The Haunting of Hill House. Very solid young female actor. And I think a good, slightly older than the rest of the kids. I think Zendaya would work really well in there.
Okay.
She's still fairly young. I think she's just young enough to pull it off as maybe the sort of oldest kid designated leader. Yeah, that's my thoughts on who should be in this movie. I really hope they bring back at least Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and Ernie Hudson. I really hope they don't. And I really hope that I hope that maybe Jason Reitman will reach out to someone from the 2016 female Ghostbusters and just be like, hey, do you want to cameo in this as a nice nod to that movie?
Yeah.
I think that would go over well. Especially Leslie Jones, because she went through a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know if she'd want any part of this franchise after that.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, she's had some harsh words for this project already.
Yeah, she wasn't fussed. But I really hope that maybe they can mend that relationship a little bit.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that. I really would. And maybe if they sat down and talked it over and she got a better feel of what he's going for here, then maybe, I don't know. I would like to see this done in a way that isn't a slap in the face to the 2016 Ghostbusters.
I want to see all parties walk away happy.
Exactly. I hope this could be good for everybody. And maybe bring some much needed positivity to the Ghostbusters franchise.
Yeah, for sure.
The next one I want to talk about very briefly, I don't have a whole lot to say here. Star Wars Episode 9.
I know nothing about this movie.
All I know is that Lando is coming back. Billy D. Williams is in this, apparently. Which is awesome.
Yeah?
But my question is, like, do you have any thoughts on the title? What they could call this movie.
Oh.
They don't have a title. There's no announced title yet.
See, that all depends on what the plot would be.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring here for a title. but I will admit that this is sort of lifted from another podcaster. I believe his name is Neil Miller from Storm of Spoilers podcast. It's mostly a Game of Thrones podcast. He broke down on Twitter. It's really interesting. He broke down the grammar patterns in every title of the Star Wars movies so far, and how it always kinds of lines up in the trilogies. And based on Return of the Jedi, Revenge of the Sith, he said that maybe it's Rise of the something.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. And thinking about, like, you know, what there is left to rise, perhaps, in this story, I'm thinking, like, my guess is Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah. I was going to say Rebellion, but Resistance works too.
Resistance is what they've been using in the new trilogy. Rise of the Rebellion, I think, is a cooler title, but I don't know if maybe they'll start calling it the Rebellion again, which would be cool. I don't know. I just thought I'd throw that in there for the hell of it. One thing I really want to see in a new Star Wars movie is I want to see fucking Nine Numb. Where's Nine Numb at, y'all?
I want more Darth Maul.
Yes.
With his robot legs.
Fuck yeah. Oh, man. Maybe that's Rise of the robot legs.
Yep.
That's the
Rise of the Robots.
Okay. I'm guessing the one movie left is the one you want to talk about.
You mean Star Wars and Ghostbusters weren't the movie I wanted to talk about?
No.
Who am I?
I mean, a very geeky podcast where we talk about sci-fi and superheroes. And it's not Batman or Spider-Man or Ghostbusters or Star Wars we want to talk about. It's the Hulk Hogan biopic. This is what you're looking forward to, right?
God, yes.
Okay. So, recently announced that Todd Phillips, the creator of the Hangover trilogy and the upcoming Joker movie, is going to be making a Hulk Hogan biopic starring Chris Hemsworth.
Yep.
And if this isn't just an opportunity to fan cast your fucking heart out for every known wrestler in existence, then I don't know what is. How many characters did you cast?
I cast 3 or 4.
I've got a dozen.
I can't wait to hear. You go first, and if you name a character that I've also cast, I'll just chime in.
Okay. Fuck, I don't even know where to start. They just kept coming. I just couldn't stop.
See, I looked at some of the more iconic wrestlers from that era, and I also looked at a list of what culture called the 10 most iconic matches of Hulk Hogan's career.
Yeah, I checked out that list too.
And so I tried to cast some of those characters.
I cast it in a lot of different ways. Like, oh man. Sometimes based on his life, sometimes based on his matches. Some people I just think should end up in here. Like, I feel like they almost want to do this movie like Bohemian Rhapsody, in that it's the dramatic story of Hulk Hogan's life highlighted by recreations of matches.
Yeah.
In the same way that Bohemian Rhapsody did that with musical numbers. So, like, some of these actors might be big name actors, but they'd only appear in the movie for like a couple minutes in a match.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And I don't know. I will note beforehand, I really hope that they don't candy coat this, because Hulk Hogan is kind of a piece of shit. And I really hope that they don't gloss over that, which I do feel like they probably will, though.
Yeah, I mean, the dude's still alive, and if they make a movie that makes him look like a complete fucking piece of shit more than his mouth already did, he's probably going to sue the shit out of them.
Yeah, I think he's involved in this somehow. But,
Yeah.
like, I feel like they have to at least acknowledge the Gawker stuff at some point in the movie. You can't skip it.
Yeah.
Unless they just, like, you know, end it on some big WrestleMania moment or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so actual wrestlers that I think should be in this movie. I mean, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I'd like to see him play Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yeah.
Because that would be interesting. And I've seen him bulk up for so many movies. Can he bulk down?
To play his former self?
Can he do that? I want to see if that's possible. Although technically he was pretty beefed up when he fought Hogan.
Yeah.
Is fought the word because they're not really fighting? When he
wrestled.
Yeah, when he wrestled. Okay. But more importantly, John Cena should have a part in this movie.
I was thinking that too.
Okay, do you have him cast as somebody?
I do.
I wonder if we got the same person here. I think John Cena should play the Ultimate Warrior.
Yup.
Fuck yeah, right?
Yup.
He's got the same build. He is comedic enough to pull off the insanity of the Ultimate Warrior.
Plus, you give him the face paint and the long hair, and people wouldn't be like, why is John Cena fighting Hulk Hogan?
Exactly, right?
Like, you need something that, like, if you're going to cast a wrestler to play a different wrestler,
yeah,
then you've got to do something that makes them look far enough away from themselves.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let me see. I don't even know what order to do this shit in. I'm guessing we both tried to cast Andre the Giant.
I tried to, and I couldn't think of anyone that I liked.
I've got two picks, depending on the budget. If they have to go small budget and actually cast someone to play him, I think the best option is Robert Maillet. From, my God, 300, Sherlock Holmes. He wrestled back in the 90s as Kurgan, and then he moved into acting. And he basically just plays like the big guy in the room, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't really look that much like Andre, but he can act, he can wrestle, he's big. It's kind of the only option I can think of.
You're going to be hard-pressed to find someone that size who looks like Andre without, like, who can act without having to do some kind of prosthetics or CGI.
Yeah. If they have the budget for it and they can motion capture, I think Javier Bardem would fucking nail it.
Oh my God, yes.
He kind of has some of the facial features.
He's an amazing actor.
Yeah. It's weird to say that he has similar facial features because Javier Bardem is a handsome man and Andre was a little rough looking. But I don't know, there's something going on there where he could do it if they have the budget.
Yep.
Which doubly so because Javier is not a cheap actor to get.
No.
So yeah, those are my picks for Andre, if that's a thing. Let me see. Some more of the classic wrestlers here. Macho Man Randy Savage obviously should be in this movie.
Yep.
Did you cast anybody here?
I was trying to, but I didn't nail anyone down.
Man, I've got one here, and it's an actor you're a fan of, and I think you're going to love this one. Joe Manganiello.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Stone Cold Steve Austin as Randy Savage?
Yep.
Fuck. Oh, that's an idea. I could almost see that.
Yep.
I really want to hear Joe Manganiello say,
"Ooh, yeah."
I was thinking step into a Slim Jim, but yeah. Let's see. We got Ric Flair. I figure was a big one that should probably show up at some point.
Yep.
And I like Wyatt Russell for him.
Wyatt Russell would be good. I said Liam Hemsworth.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I like Wyatt Russell a little bit, but I'm not totally sold on that casting. He's a little he's a little skinny. He's a little young looking to play Ric Flair.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just me being used to seeing old Ric Flair too.
Yeah, I had to look up pictures of young Ric Flair, like around the time he was facing Hogan.
Yeah.
And I think it would be cool to have, like, because some of, like, in this top 10 of Hogan's most iconic matches, 3 of them were Ric Flair.
Yeah.
And so I think, like, if you're going to have one of his most iconic matches being, like, this big slugfest, then I think it would be cool to have, like, the 2 Hemsworth brothers just going at each other.
Yeah, for sure. When I looked up a picture of young Ric Flair, I immediately thought, man, he looked a lot like Armie Hammer, but I can't cast Armie Hammer in every fucking movie we talk about.
No.
But, I mean, I wouldn't disagree with it either.
I just can't get over his fucking name, Armie Hammer.
I know, it sounds like fucking baking soda, right?
Right?
Another one, and this is a super weird choice for a wrestling movie, but seriously, just look up how much this guy looks like him. So Brutus Beefcake apparently was a big part of Hogan, his career, and they had a pretty good friendship.
Yeah, he even had Brutus as one of the coaches on Hulk Hogan's Celebrity Wrestling.
Okay.
Did you ever see that show?
No, I did not.
I watched a bit of it. Like, Dustin Diamond was on there, and Butterbean was on there, and...
Okay.
Like, me and my sister used to watch it on Saturday afternoons. So, Brutus Beefcake was one of the 2 coaches there. Like, they took a bunch of celebrities, split them up into 2 camps, and basically, like, taught them how to be wrestlers, and gave them a character, and they would script matches, and help them come up with a signature move and stuff like that. And yeah, it was Brutus Beefcake, and I can't remember who the other guy was. I'll try and find it.
Okay.
While you're talking about it.
Can I just say, like, I don't know how they're going to fit this whole story into a movie. Because Hogan he has a lot. Like, will Mr. Nanny manage to show up at some point?
Oh my god.
Or a fucking Suburban Commando? Like, how deep into this are they going to get?
Or 3 ninjas?
3 ninjas. What is it? Something Mountain. It was the 3rd one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I want to see some of that stuff. But yeah, Brutus Beefcake, I think, should be played by Tim Heidecker from Tim and Eric's Awesome Show, Great Job. He's a comedian.
Yeah.
But seriously, just look up how much this guy looks like Brutus Beefcake. It is crazy.
Yep.
I can absolutely see it. And I feel like he's got the charisma to play someone like Beefcake, who wasn't like a super ripped guy or anything. He's gonna have to tone up a little bit for it, but
yeah,
I don't know. I thought it was fun. Speaking of movies, like Suburban Commando and 3 Ninjas and so on, I feel like there's one very particular iconic one that needs to be featured in this movie, and that would be Rocky 3, because that kind of helped launch the Hulkamania craze, right?
Yep.
So, I have casted as Sylvester Stallone, John Bernthal, aka the Punisher.
Yeah.
Not an identical look or anything, but I feel like he could pull off the Sylvester Stallone vibe, you know.
Yeah. Brian Knobs was the other guy I was thinking of.
Okay, Brian. Yeah. Let me see who else I got here. Oh yeah, another fairly important celebrity that would need to be casted in this movie, Mr. T.
Yeah.
I think Winston Duke from Black Panther should play Mr. T.
That's cool casting. You know who else could be in it? The Big Boss Man.
Oh man, who would you get?
David Harbour.
Yes! Oh fuck yes! David Harbour's Big Boss Man. I'm all about that. Yeah, that's a good one. Also for Mr. T, my first choice is still Jordan Peele, because I recently finished watching every episode of Key and Peele, and there's a skit where Jordan Peele does a full-on Mr. T, and it is perfect. I don't know how well he could pull off the wrestling side of it, but it would be fun to see him revisit that character. Let's see. A very obvious one here, and someone who's actually a producer on this movie. I feel like it just makes sense. Bradley Cooper as Vince McMahon.
Yep.
And Bradley Cooper has actually said in the past he would love to play Vince McMahon in a movie. So he's a producer on this movie. He's worked with Todd Phillips a handful of times. It makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Say we're going to cast the main guys from The Hangover.
Yeah. Oh.
In this movie. Who would Zach Galifianakis play? And who would Ed Helms play? And would you cast Justin Bartha?
Ed Helms, immediately, I think of... remember that guy, IRS? Remember that? Like, he walked out with a briefcase and he was... Remember him?
I think... oh my god, I gotta find his name.
Justin Bartha, I'm not sure at all. I don't know about Zach Galifianakis. There's not a lot of guys with that build in
I don't know. I think that Ed Helms or Justin Bartha could be Jimmy Hart, the mouth from the South.
Oh, nice. I actually casted Jimmy Hart as someone else.
And I think Zach Galifianakis would be good as, like, Doink the Clown, but have him in makeup and just have him just, like, walk by and just, like, not do anything to distinguish, like, that's Zach Galifianakis.
Okay,
and just have, like, people's minds be blown that this random clown that's in the movie for, like, 3 seconds at one point, backstage.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool. Yeah.
And maybe just get Justin Bartha as, like, a referee or something. Well, you mentioned Jimmy Hart, so I'm going to throw in my my casting there. I'd like to see Mark Maron as Jimmy Hart.
That would be good, too.
He kind of looks like him.
Yep.
And I mean, he's got the... Actually, that was why I threw him in there. I feel like it would be cool to throw in some actors from Glow.
Yeah.
The other one I really like is I like the idea of Alison Brie as Miss Elizabeth.
Nice.
I think she kind of like has that look. Let me see. I got 3 more here. I didn't really save the best ones for last though. I just kind of went on a tear there. Well, obviously you're doing the life of Hulk Hogan. You got to cast his wife, Linda Hogan. And it's an oddball choice, but I like Anna Faris here. A little bit. I feel like she doesn't get the chance to act seriously enough, and I'd like to see that.
If you look at a younger Linda Hogan, I could see Anna Faris.
Yeah, I was. That's what I was looking at, and I could kind of see it, right?
These days, she looks. Ugh.
Yeah,
Like Jennifer Coolidge could play her.
Jennifer Coolidge, yeah.
Or Jennifer Tilly, but like, even then, like, She looks more like Donatella Versace these days.
Jesus Christ. So, a guy I really wanted to get in this movie in some manner, and as soon as the casting came to me, I loved it. I think David Arquette should show up here.
Oh my god.
Right? And I want him to play Eric Bischoff.
Nice.
Monday Night Wars, man. You gotta include the WCW at some point, right? And if you look up David Arquette these days, he kind of looks like Eric Bischoff a little bit. Like I think he would nail it.
Nice.
Do you have any more there?
No, that's all I got.
Okay, I got one more, and I feel like this was a pretty decent one to end on. Another iconic match of Hogan's that I saw was Roddy Piper. And I mean, Roddy Piper was such a big part of that era. And I was kind of struggling to find someone who could pull him off. And then I landed on Jesse Plemons.
Jesse Plemons.
It's from Game Night and Breaking Bad and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
I only saw that dude in Game Night. Like, that's the only thing I really know him from. And I thought he was fantastic in that movie.
I've seen him in a few things now. He's a very talented actor. And I feel like he kind of has the look for Roddy Piper. And he could bring something to that. I also just realized that we've spent the last little while talking specifically about actors and wrestling, and there's probably a good portion of listeners who have no fucking idea about what we're talking about. But whatever, we're getting self-indulgent on this episode today.
Yep.
Like I said, it's time to nerd out with your bird out. I'm gonna make that a thing.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all the casting I got for this Hulk Hogan movie. What do you think they should call the movie?
Thunderlips.
What? Thunderlips?
Yep.
I was gonna say Suburban Commando: The Untold Story. Whatever. That's two solid options, so you know.
It'll probably be something along the lines of like Hulkamania.
Yeah, I feel like they're probably gonna take I'm trying to think of a quote or a catchphrase.
What you gonna do?
What you gonna do
when Hulkamania runs wild on you?
What was that original entrance music? That would be a decent title. Like
what? Real American?
Oh fuck, that'd be a terrible title.
Yeah.
God damn. He had a different one though.
It
was like something brother or something. Fuck, I don't remember now. I'm googling it. Real American. No, that's terrible. Eye of the Tiger. No, fuck. I thought there was another one. American Made. God damn, it's so American. Voodoo Child. No. Okay, I'm wrong. That's what it comes down to. I'm wrong, and none of those are good options. Fuck that. Yeah. I think we've said quite enough on this Hulk Hogan movie.
Yeah.
It's a very large portion of the episode talking about a Hulk Hogan movie.
A Hulk Hogan biopic. God damn.
Yeah, that's what we do here. We lull you into a false sense of security thinking, oh, they're going to talk about superheroes again. And then we say, fuck you. We're going to talk about a racist professional wrestler.
Steroids, the musical.
Yes. Okay, that's the one. Steroids, the musical. Oh, that's perfect. So I guess that's it for another episode of Jedi Dropouts.
Yep.
I'm amazed. This is the third episode in a row that has been on time. Like, that's a record, right?
I think so.
It's up there. We've slacked in the past, but we're keeping up. We're doing all right. I want to quickly mention a couple things before we end this. We are doing a March gaming challenge on Instagram and Facebook. You can check that out. We posted the original picture, which was created by Martha May UK. You can find her on Instagram at Martha May UK or on Twitch. She's a streamer. Twitch.tv/Martha May UK. And it's basically just like every day for the month of March, there's a different video game related thing that we'll be posting. So far it's been like favorite gaming genre, and so it's me, you, and Mitchell's picks for every day of March. Just something fun and distracting, and to create a little bit of a conversation on social media. And we've been getting some good feedback. Like, people are actually hopping on there and chatting about their own thoughts and picks, which is the whole point of it.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, our listener question for the episode, which we'll be posting when this episode goes up, we want to know what your favorite video game of all time is. And I really think that we're going to get some good feedback on this one. I think we're going to actually get people giving more of their thoughts on that. Hopefully.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I like getting a lot of feedback.
Same. And we already talked about the merch store, but what was that link again?
tpublic.com/Jedi Dropouts Productions.
Yeah.
I got it right this time.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Second time's the charm. Hop on over there and check out some merch. You wanna wear our logo on your chest, or where else? On your phone. We've got
mugs, both coffee mugs and travel mugs. We've got tees, tanks, baseball shirts, crew necks, hoodies. We've got stickers, wall art. We've got notebooks. We've got phone cases.
Yeah.
And so far, the store has been up for, I think, 2-3 days. And we have sold 9 items.
It's not bad.
No, I'm like, it doesn't sound like a lot to some people, but for a hobby podcast based in Western Newfoundland,
yeah,
like 9 items in the first couple days, I'm very happy with.
Yeah, we're pretty niche.
Yeah.
We don't have a huge following or anything.
Yeah.
This is just for a bit of fun. We're not trying to make money at this. We're not trying to, I don't expect to become famous.
No.
I mean, I expect to become like
infamous.
Like Scott Baio level of famous, where it's like kind of famous but not really. Yeah, I don't know, it's just for a bit of fun, and I'm excited. I ordered some merch, so I'm really excited to see it, and proudly wear my podcast on my shirt, and then, I already have one shirt.
Yeah, I'm gonna maybe get one of the baseball tees myself.
I kind of thought so. That's very much your style.
Yeah, I love baseball tees, and I might also get a tank top to wear to the gym.
I was considering a tank. I like tanks when the summer comes on.
I'll get a tank for the gym, and I will get a baseball tee for just like out in a boot. But
Boot in a boot.
Another thing that I have in the works right now actually is another collab I'm going to be doing with Nacho and Dog. Adrian messaged me because we've been going to a local bar here that opened semi-recently called Retro, because they have arcade games, pinball machines, and such. And Adrian and I have been going in when he's home from work, because he works away, and we've been trying to go in and see how many high scores we can set. And so we've been talking to the owners, and potentially later this month, it's not concrete yet, but potentially later this month, Adrian and I will be streaming live from Retro for 6 hours-ish.
Nice.
So it looks like we're going to be doing a bit of co-op in Rocket League maybe, and then we'll be taking turns with one of us streaming on the big projector screen and the other one streaming on a smaller television and going back and forth. So I'm not sure what Adrian will be playing aside from Rocket League, but I'm gonna maybe play some Link to the Past randomized, maybe some of the Resident Evil 2 remake, and I've also been on a bit of a Mega Man X8 kick lately. I picked that game up again, so I might play a little bit of that.
Good stuff.
Play some things I can show off a few tricks in.
Yeah, for sure. And if that happens, and when it does, you can check us out on social media, and we'll be posting about it there. And
I will definitely be sharing the information on the Jedi Dropouts Facebook page, and we'll try to tweet about it and post on Instagram and wherever you may follow us.
Yeah. And I guess that brings us right to the ending here. As always, thanks for listening. We really do appreciate everyone who ever tunes into this.
So much.
I mean, realistically, this is just me and you catching up every couple weeks.
Yep.
And we just happened to record it.
Yeah.
And the fact that anyone really gives a shit enough to hear what we have to say is pretty fucking cool.
It's really flattering.
It really is.
Yeah.
I really don't even give a shit what I have to say sometimes. No, that's not true. I care more than anybody what I have to say.
Some of the people who follow our podcast listen to what I have to say more than my fiance does.
Oh, I can guarantee you, I can promise you, the people who listen to this care more than my wife does about this shit. And the funny thing is, like, I'm gonna go on a tangent here. Charlotte does not listen to the podcast, and that is no slight. I don't blame her because she has heard it already.
Yeah.
Everything that I talk about in this podcast, I am constantly running by her. I'm like, hey, do you think this is funny? Oh, should I talk about this? What do you think about this point? I'm like, I like, by the time recording comes or the episode comes out, she's fucking heard everything I have to say anyway. So, like,
yeah,
you know. And to quote Kevin Smith in one of my favorite Kevin Smith quotes ever, he talks about how his wife doesn't listen to his podcast, and she says, Kevin, if I wanted to hear you ramble about the Flash, I would look to my left. And that sums it up, right?
Yep.
But no, Charlotte's very supportive, and I love her to death. Anyway, rambling aside, we gotta take off. I gotta go wake that dog up before she sleeps away the day and fucking is up all night. So thanks again, and we really mean it. Thank you for listening. You can always check out other episodes of Jedi Dropouts and Final Form. New episode of Final Form is not recorded yet, but should be up before this episode. It's an episode on One Piece, which is going to be a lot of fun to record when that happens. It's weird to speak in both future tense and past tense about the same thing.
Well, I mean, you're taking it back to your love of time travel.
Fuck yeah! Yeah, I like that. Yeah. That's so cool. Time travel.
Yep.
Wow, I'm kind of time traveling right now.
You are the time traveler's wife.
I am. That was a pretty good movie. Starring Eric Bana. That all comes full circle.
Boom! We definitely tried that.
We peaked. It's not getting better.
No.
So yeah, I am suggesting that you go listen to a past episode that has been released, although it hasn't been recorded yet. And I feel very fucking cool for saying that. But go check out other episodes of Jedi Dropouts Final Form and everything else we do over at www.jedidropouts.podbean.com or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And until next time, thanks for dropping by.
Something, drop out.
Later.
Peace.
This has been a Jedi Dropouts production.